welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am Bekah Joe, aka the Makeup Tax Lady. Today we are starting a new installment of the Makeup Diary series. I have done a handful of other videos. I'll link the playlist in the description or in the cards or both. And I'm hoping to get, we'll see how it ends up, but I'm hoping to get 4 clips into this video today. So today is day 1. This makeup that you are seeing right now has been on for about 12 hours. My eyes are irritated today, so I apologize. I feel like we're not starting the video off the most fresh, but it is what it is, and this is a day in real life. And the only things that I've touched up before jumping on camera, I added a little bit of concealer to an acne spot that I have down here that I've touched throughout the day. And I added just a tad bit of lip gloss. This is my Inslee Rain lip gloss in Inner Glow to my lips, but nothing else has been touched up, so this is really what my makeup looks like after a 12-hour day. Let's get into the products that I wore. So before I put on my foundation, my skin tint for the day, I went in with my homemade face spray. So this is water, witch hazel, and aloe vera. It's been kind of a nice little prep step for my skin. Seeing how my makeup wore throughout the day, I wish I had maybe gone in with something a little bit different, just because I was in the office today and I think the office air is drier, and that's probably part of the reason my eyes are irritated, whatever. The level of moisture in the air in the different environments makes an impact on how my makeup wears throughout the day. So if I'm at home all day, that's one thing. If I'm at the office all day, that's one thing. If I'm outside all day, that's one thing. I'm sure you experience something similar if you're ever in different places. So anyway, that is the starting point for my makeup today. For my skin tint, I wore my iconic London. This is their super smoother blurring skin tint, and I have the shade Neutral Fair. I have been trying this out, and I really like it when I blend it out with a damp sponge especially. I think it really is skin-like, and I enjoy that. I also have been not using a separate concealer or under eye corrector or anything like that recently. For cream bronzer, I wore my Sydney Grace cream bronzer in the shade Cinnamon Roll. This is such a nice, easy, not too deep kind of bronzer for me to wear on the daily. I also wore this lip and cheek stain. I picked this up at, I think, TJ Maxx. It came in a set of 3, and this is like the in-between. There's like an orange and a pink, and then this is kind of the in-between, and it's a nice bright pink color, so I enjoyed that. Then I set everything down with my RCMA No Color powder. In my brows, I used my Ulta Ultra Slim brow pencil. I always have to look at the name of it, in Ash Taupe. Just ran a little bit of this through my brows. And then my Get Fluffed brow gel. The shade is 1.0, which is just a translucent shade, to set my brows. Then I went in with my About Face eyeshadow primer and went in with the Fantasia palette, which is a palette slash collection of singles from Divina Cosmetics. So I started with this shade, which I think is the shade Cassius, and blended that through my crease. And then I went in with this shade, which I think is Magnus, and used that to deepen up the outer corner. I then went in with my Kaima Cosmetics glitter glue, and on top of that went in with this shade, which I believe is Ember Rain, on kind of the center outside portion of my lid, and then went in with this last shade, which is Starborn, I think. I looked at all these before filming, and I will have corrected myself on screen if I got the shade names wrong, but I believe this is Starborn, and use that on the rest of my lid. And they're very pretty, soft, shifty, sparkly shades, and I like the way that this look came out because it has depth, but it's not like so deep. I think everything blended really nicely, and it's lasted really well throughout the day. Okay, the last handful of things, wrapping things up here, I went in with my Sigma mascara, which is one that I just opened. I topped my blush off with this Kosas blush in the shade Blissed. Just a nice, pretty, bright pinky shade. And then on my lips, I wore MAC Locked Kiss ink in the shade Mischief. This is a nice, pretty neutral, everyday, slightly peachy maybe lip shade for me, but I've really been liking it, and it's nice and thin on the lips, so I appreciate that. I did top it off with my Inslee Rain lip gloss in Inner Glow, just to start the day off with a little moisture. Okay, I think that was everything for day 1, so let's move right on into day 2. Hello there, welcome back. Here we are with day 2 makeup. I know that you saw day 1 at the end of the day. Day 2 is freshly applied. My hair is still cooling from putting a little bit of curl into it, so hopefully we look a little bit more refreshed. I have a long day today. I have an event after work, which should be a lot of fun, and it's nothing like fancy, but I really want to make sure that my makeup lasts well throughout the day. So let me show you what it is that I'm wearing on my face today. Starting off with my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I wore this again the other day and really appreciated it, so giving it a go today. On top of that, I wore my Revlon Serum Tint. This is their Illuminance, and I really liked this. I picked this up on a whim at Ulta, and this is my top favorite foundation skin tint product. It's moisturizing, it lasts really well throughout the day. The shade match is somehow really good, even though it's a 201, so it's like out of the lightest category. But I think because it's sheer enough, but it still has coverage, so I really enjoy this product. I don't think that I've worn these two together before, so we shall see how it works for us today. You probably guessed it, I set everything down with my RCMA No Color Powder. On top of that, I went in with my Ulta Beauty bronzer. This doesn't have a shade. They have shade names now on the Ulta app. They have a couple options, but I bought this before there were options. This was the only option, and it's a little deep, but I think everything has blended out really nicely over it. My blush today is my Kosas Baked Blush in the shade Bliss. This is just such a perfect, beautiful everyday shade. This is a mini, but assuming, like, if I'm able to work all the way through this, there's a good chance that I'll buy the full size. I have so many other blushes, but I go back to this one very often, and if I love it enough to use through a blush, who uses through a whole blush? Unless you're a person just has one or a couple blushes in your collection. I have too many more than that, but if I were to use all the way through this, I would be totally justified in my own mind in purchasing the full size, so we'll see about that. In my brows, I have my Ulta Beauty Ultra Slim Brow Pencil. Maybe I read that right for once. Ulta Beauty Ultra Slim Brow Pencil. Nailed it. I set my brows with my Half Caked Get Fluffed Brow Gel. This is in their translucent shade. And then set my lids with my About Face eyeshadow primer. Decided to keep the eyes super simple but super long lasting today. This is my Sydney Grace cream shadow in the shade Warm Glow. It's just such a pretty subtle pink shade, but it adds just a little bit of something to the lids. Again, with my long day, I wanted something that I wouldn't have to worry about, wouldn't fuss with, and this, in my experience with these cream shadows, this is going to last all day, no problem. So I'm very delighted about that. Mascara is my Sigma Sinuosity Lash Mascara. And on my lips, I put on something a little bit more bold. I'm assuming that this will fade throughout the day, and then I'll probably just reapply lip gloss. I won't even worry about like lip color, but the lip color that I'm wearing today is my e.l.f. It's their new blush tints, but I wear it as a lip tint, and I don't remember what shade it is. It's Rose something or other. It's this shade here. So I put on basically a couple layers of that onto my lips, so it's a little bit deep. I think it goes fine with where everything else is at, but for the event, the after work, it will have worn off. And I'm totally okay with that. Because this is so saturated right now, I wanted to top it with a pinkier lip gloss. So this is my Ensley Rain Lip Lacquer in the shade Fairy Kingdom. This was a gift with purchase. I was reminded recently by having done it that when I keep my makeup more subtle for the day, which is fine, I have no problem with that, and I think that this look is very nice. But on the days that I do that, I like to add a little splash of highlighter, and the perfect highlighter to do that, in my opinion, is one that has either a sheer base or a light pink base with kind of a blue flash to it. I happened to pick up this Beauty Creations Corpse Bride multi-use palette from TJ Maxx earlier this year, I believe it was. So these are eyeshadows and these are highlighters. This highlighter in the middle, it's pretty, but it doesn't do anything for me. But the top and the bottom one here are spectacular. This one has more of a white base and a blue flip, so it's more intense. This one is soft pink with, I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of silvery, but it's very subtle. silvery blue kind of shift to it. So it's very fine, very refined particles, and it's just a fun way that if nobody else notices it, I notice it, and I've got just a little extra pizzazz to my look, but again, kind of on the down low. Nothing too colorful or bold. If I remember, if I am able, I will throw in a little snip right here of how my makeup has worn throughout the day of day 2. And let's go right on into day 3. Welcome back to day 3. Here is my look, my face today for day 3. Let's get into what is on my face. Started off with just spraying my face with my homemade spray. Then I went in with my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I have been enjoying this lately. I think it's a summer staple for me. I think that it may be nice in the wintertime, but there's something about it in the summer that's moisturizing, but not too moisturizing. I don't know. I think I bought it a year, could have been 5 years ago at this point. I bought it a little while ago, and I'm taking my time getting through it. I have a couple other like grippy primers as well, but I do like it. I'm wearing my Iconic London Super Smoother Blurring Skin Tint. This is the shade Neutral Fair. This is a good match for me. I blend this in with my damp sponge, and I do really like the way that this looks on me. It's definitely a natural finish. It's not overly matte and it's not overly dewy, so it works really well. It's really pretty for the day today, and it is smoothing, and I like having the extra bit of moisture under it, the e.l.f. primer. I think that really helps it to last well all day and then read even more skin-like. I only have 2 products, I believe, from Iconic London, and I used the other one of those today. I picked this up at a TJ Maxx a year, however long ago. This is their sheer bronze in the shade Sunkiss. So I just squeeze a little bit of this out. It's a liquid bronzer. Squeeze a little bit out on the back of my hand and then pick it up with a brush and put it where I want to. And it's so thin on the skin, and it's pretty subtle because it's a sheer product, but I think it's really pretty and I like it. Another item that I picked up from a TJ Maxx or possibly Marshall's, this is my liquid blush in Beauty Concepts. This is the lighter of the 2 shades. I talk about these all the time because I love these so much. They were very inexpensive, and 2 bottles that are 1 ounce each. It's gonna last me forever, but this has kind of kicked me off onto liking a light and bright kind of blush. So yeah, picked that on my face today. You might have guessed by now, I set everything down on my face with my RC Made No Color powder. I did very little setting today. I didn't put a whole lot of powder on. I did the same brow routine and eyeshadow primer, Ulta Beauty Half Caked Brow Gel, and About Face eyeshadow primer. On my eyes today, I bounced around a little bit. I started off with the Ensley Rain Glow Palette. This was gifted to me by the brand, and I started with the shade Confident, built this up in the outer corner, and then I used Confident and Self Love to blend out the lower lash line. From the Ensley Rain Groovy Garden palette, purchased by myself, I used the shade Marvy here to just add a little bit more depth to the outer corner. Seeing Adept Cosmetics' most recent announcement, their new release of their palette, made me want to dip into the Adept eyeshadow palette that I have. This is the Heather Austin palette, and I picked up the shade Hey Y'all, and it's a nice pinky taupey kind of shade with some sparkle, and I put that over the center of my lid. I always feel so conflicted when I play with Adept Cosmetics eyeshadows, so please let me know your thoughts with the Adept that you have or that you have tried. I think that the color stories are really pretty. I feel like I struggle to get them to look like this on my lid. Maybe it's a technique thing that I'm missing out on. Let me know. For the inner corner pop, I did reach back into my glow palette and picked up the shade Divine, picked it up with a brush, sprayed the brush, and then put it on my lids, and it added this beautiful little sparkle and bright effect to the inner corner. I did top off my liquid blush with powder blush. This is the Adept and Amy Loves blush palette. I used the shade Mishka down here to just top just a little bit. I didn't want like a super heavy blush, but it added just a little bit more pink to my cheeks. And I also used Eris, this beautiful, more pigmented highlighter up here with a light fluffy brush just over the tops of my cheeks. I love this blush palette so much. I have no doubts how much I love this palette. This is fantastic. It's the eyeshadows where I kind of struggle. I do have another blush palette the Duality or Unity, I think it's the Duality blush palette from Adept, but the colors in that one are a little more bizarre anyway. So the fact that this one, they're more everyday blush shades and they're great formulas and the highlighters are really pretty. I really, really love this blush palette. My mascara is my Sigma Sinuosity Lash. And then on my lips, I'm wearing Wet n Wild Never Petal Down, and topped that with my Sydney Grace lip topper in Trisha. All right, here was day 3. My week has not gone as planned, but I'll still get you in a day 4. It just may delay the upload of this video just a little bit, but let's move along now to day 4. Hello, welcome back. Here is day 4. Makeup has been freshly applied, and this is an office day for me. Let's go through the things that are on my face today. So I started off with my homemade spray just to refresh the skin and prepare it, moisturize it just a little bit. For my base, I have my e.l.f. Hydro Grip Primer and my MAC Studio Radiance. I don't know that I talk about this one much on camera. This is in shade W1. I picked this up through Mercari in the last couple of months just to test it out and to see if I like it. It is a light coverage. Overall, I really like it. I'm not convinced that it lasts great throughout the day, but overall, I do like the product. It's very, very skin-like. I have not been using much for concealer lately, but the little spots on the corner of my eye were a little bit too dramatic even after the MAC Face and Body, so I went in with my Kosas Revealer Concealer in the shade 01N, just added a tiny little dot to either side. I set my whole face with my RCMA No Color Powder. For blush, I used this new Smashbox blush in the shade Hi-Fi Heat. This will be coming in a little reel and YouTube short. I picked up all 4 of these from Ulta on a really good sale. I've had my eye on them. They're more bold colors, and I enjoy more bold colored blushes for the most part right now. That's the season I'm in. So I think that I got it to a nice level of pigmentation. It's not too bold, but it's not too sheer. It has a sheer factor to it, and I have some sort of hair on my cheek. But I went for Hi-Fi Heat, hoping that I could make it a little more neutral because I have blue on my lids today. So I think that this turned out really pretty. I like the overall effect of my makeup. And I don't normally do this, and I don't know why I did, but I went in with my blush before my bronzer. My bronzer today is my Ulta Beauty Baked Bronzer. I have really been enjoying this. It's hitting the spot lately. And again, I don't know why I put this on after blush, but it worked just fine. Brow is my Ulta Beauty Brow Pencil, my half-caked brow gel, and my About Face eyeshadow primer for my eyes. On my eyes, I wonder if you guessed it, I dipped into my Glow palette from Inslee Rain. I used the shade Frequency as a little bit of a smudgy, slightly winged liner on my upper lash line. It's pretty subtle, but that's okay. I just wanted a tad bit of definition on the outer corner of my lash line. And then I used Abundance, the shade right next to it, all over my lid, dipped in there with a finger, patted it onto my lid, and then used a fluffy brush and just brushed out the edges. So it's kind of sort of a one and done type of look. I love it. I think it goes well with the top that I'm wearing today. I think it's such an easy look. It's not too heavy on the lids, which I enjoy. And then of course, Abundance has this beautiful flash. It has this reflection quality to it that is just eye-catching, and it's otherwise sheer, and I love it. And I think it's great for a late summer, midsummer, late summer, I don't know what time of year it is, but for a summer look or any time of year look, I absolutely love it. If you have not seen, Inslee Rain has this on sale right now, this entire Glow collection. I recommend checking it out. You can also use my code TAXLADY10, non-affiliated, to save you 10% if you're shopping on their site. The Glow palette was sent to me in PR, so that's pretty cool. My mascara is my Sigma Sinuosity Lash Mascara. Lip liner, Give Me Glow, all is apricot, and then I topped that with my Sydney Grace lip topper in the shade Trisha. This goes on basically sheer, so just over the peachier lip liner, made for a fun little combo. I was going for the peachier combo to reflect the cheek. Okay, I think that's everything for today and for this video, this makeup diary series video. Thank you so much for joining me. Please let me know which of the 4 looks was your favorite. I have to say, I find 2 really cool things about filming these videos. One is that it kind of challenges me to make sure that I'm switching up the products that I'm using. I'm not so concerned about it when it comes to my base products because I switch those up semi-regularly anyway, but the eyeshadow, I can often just kind of lean toward a certain direction. And doing the Makeup Diary series, I'm like, people want to see a little bit of variety. So not that I don't ever use this kind of variety on the day to day, but it's more of a challenge to make sure that I'm changing it up when I'm doing this type of video. I also, the organizer in me, really likes being able to put each product away after I show you on screen. It's just like satisfying that everything is going back to its home and that I know where to find it tomorrow. That is probably not something that's universal in the makeup world, but that's okay. That's how I feel and I enjoy it. If you liked today's video, please give the video a like. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you're new to my channel, I'd love it if you'd consider becoming a subscriber. Thanks once again for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one.